Hey there, what's going on? Johnny Pan Sports, back with another draft video. The draft will be upon us in a couple weeks, and the Giants need to come away with, at least one good, decent edge rusher. So in this video, we're going to take a look at, a couple prospects from every round. If I was the GM, I'm taking Jaelan Phillips, and I'm calling it a day. But I get the injury concerns, so I'm not going to be upset if they decide to go with another player. In this video, to be realistic, I've chosen Kwity Paye and Azeez Ojulari, for the 11th pick. And I'll start with Kwity Paye. What I like the most is just his relentlessness and explosiveness. He's as quick as any other edge rusher in this draft. He also just showed his strength in the bench press. I think he threw up like 39 reps. That's insane for a guy his size. A lot of people bring up, his collegiate starts and production. I've also heard he doesn't have the best natural instincts. All that is concerning, but I think Kwity's physical traits make all the negatives not so bad. He needs coaching, straight up. He needs experience. Get him on the field with his speed and strength. He's got an advantage to start with. So there's that. He needs to focus on learning some pass rush moves. But man, is this dude's athleticism insane. So Kwity is the pick at 11. I'm not expecting a 10+ sack year one from him, but I expect improvement every season. And in 2-3 years, Kwity Paye could be a top 10 to 15 type of pass rusher in the NFL. So with his explosiveness and my belief in the coaching staff here, I'd celebrate the Giants making this pick. Now on to Azeez Ojulari, and there's been a little bit some buzz around Azeez ending up with the Giants. I've heard quite a few Giants YouTubers say they wouldn't mind the pick. It wouldn't shock me. I'll say that. The first thing you always hear is how he's a great young man, so there's no character concerns. On the field, though, he's not so friendly. I'll say that. There's a lot of comparisons, to Kwity Paye's game. Ojulari, he don't have the elite athleticism, but he's not very far behind. They are both team captains. They both need to improve their pass rush moves and counters. Where I think Ojulari is better than Paye is in the run game. He's great attacking, pulling blockers, and shutting down run lanes. I didn't see that as much, from Kwity Paye. I struggle with this name. Ojulari does struggle to set the edge, though. I'll say that, which I did see, Kwity do a little more often, but they both struggle in that area too. But Ojulari, this dude looks ripped. He just looks like a 3-4 outside linebacker. He has huge, upside as well as Kwity. I like both of them. Honestly, to me, it's a toss-up between the two. I think it's just a matter, of flavor. I'd take Kwity, me personally, because of his strength and speed combo. It seems like the best pass rushers in the NFL are speed to power guys. So either way, if the Giants decide either one of these prospects, you won't hear me cry. Now, on the second round, and I chose Joe Tryon and Carlos Basham. I think I'll start off with Joe Tryon. The thing that first pops off to me is his length and burst. The dude is the prototypical outside linebacker. The first two guys he needs to work on his pass rush moves. Probably gonna hear that for just about everybody. Nobody comes in the NFL just great pass rush moves. Not many anyways. And he needs to work on, just keep remaining, aggressive for every play throughout the game. He takes plays off here and there. Another bonus is I love that, Tryon dropped back in coverage, and held his own back there. That'll help him in Graham's scheme. I think he's got some upside. I think he could develop into a 10-sack kind of edge rusher, in the right system with the right development. I'm not saying, if he was drafted this year or next year, he's coming out and going to get the 10 sacks. This is just a developmental thing. Maybe going in, Lorenzo Carter, his 4th year, you could see the kind of upside where you can get that kind of production. Yeah, let's talk about Carlos Basham. And the first thing that pops off to me is just his toughness. I love it. He's a little bit of a bigger edge guy at 280 pounds, but that don't seem to affect, his explosiveness much. He's got great lateral speed, and a motor that it don't stop. And unlike, Kwity, Carlos Basham is very instinctive. I love this player. He also showed out at the Senior Bowl, so I probably put him on Gettleman's page. You know how Gettleman is, he loves the Senior Bowl. So I think he can play standing up and with his hand in the dirt. The only negative thing I can say is he doesn't have like the best first step off the snap. You know, he needs to do better fighting off blocks in the run game. But great prospect. All right, on to the third round. You know, for the third round I chose Rashad Weaver and Patrick Jones. So I debated whether to put Rashad Weaver in the third or the fourth round. You know, there's some debate on where he'll go. I've heard some people say he's a fifth, sixth round pick. I don't know about all that. The first thing I should say is, you know, Rashad Weaver played with his hand in the dirt pretty much every snap at Pitt. But I think his body type is like perfect for a 3-4. It would be a transition, you know, there always is. But I think it's the right move. You know, he lacks the top end speed and bursts off the line, you know. But I think he makes up for it with his length and strength. That rhymes. His best trait is his punch. He has great hands, keeping blockers off of him. Similar to, you know, if you watch some O'Shane Ximines tape. It's a risky pick, but it's one I'd make. Now, Patrick Jones, which is actually a teammate of Rashad Weaver. They're pretty similar players. I think Patrick Jones is a little bit bigger, maybe faster off the snap, but very similar. But for Patrick, he seems to be a very instinctual player. You know, he's not as good with his hands as Weaver, but he plays with a much better pad level. Living in Pennsylvania, I've seen a lot of these guys. Either one of these dudes would be, you know, good for me. Maybe I should have picked some players in the third round that, you know, stood up more in college. But I don't think it'll be too hard for either player to make the switch, especially for Patrick Jones. Alright, round 4, I chose Quincy Roche and Jordan Smith. So let's dive into Quincy Roche. I never really gave Quincy much thought, but as I was watching Jalen Phillips, you know, this dude just kept flashing on the screen. He's an athletic freak. And you might think, if he's such an athletic freak, how would he be available in the fourth round? And the answer is, he's really got no bend, you know, around the edge at all. He's a very tight, you know, tight hip, tight ankle player. I love his production though. You know, he seems to still get the job done. He's never hurt, and I think he'll be a dependable player. Even with his negatives, he managed just to find ways to get to the quarterback and get it done. You know, I think he's got good pass rush moves for his age. You know, all rookies need to work on moves, obviously, but I like where he is at the moment. Alright, last round, the two players I chose are Jonathan Cooper and Wyatt Hubert. You know, I went back and forth with a bunch of players at this point. I settled on the guys who had like one trait that was really good. Just because at this point in the draft, these players are all developmental. It's a coin flip, basically. The reason I chose Wyatt Hubert is just his relentlessness. You know, this dude's got a non-stop motor. You know, and I like those kinds of players. Now, he has balance issues, and he loses track of the football from time to time. But he's going to come in and he's going to go to work. I mean, it's just it's just kind of player he is. I like his first step as well. You know, that's what makes me think that he can play standing up. He's probably going to play special teams, you know, to make a team his first season. But he's got experience as a personal protector on punt returns, so he should be okay. Now, I'm a Jonathan Cooper from Ohio State. And this kid just feels like a Gettleman pick. I'm telling you. He's a team captain, a good kid, and I think for a late round pick, he's got some upside. So, he's not the longest guy, but he's got a good first step, and he can bend off the edge a little. I like the pad level he plays with. You know, Jonathan Cooper, he ain't got like the balance issues like Wyatt Herbert does. And he's got a good, decent inside move, similar to O'Shane. But he is a 6th round pick for a reason. Because of his top end speed, and you know, he gets hung up, you know, on too many blocks. You know, there was games where he should have had better production, you know, going up against weaker opponents as well. He'll probably start out as a pass rush specialist on third downs, you know, until he can build his body some. But you know, I like the player at the 6th round at this spot. And also, Cooper showed out at the Senior Bowl. You know, I'm sure I was thinking he'd be like end of the 7th round undrafted kind of guy, but yeah, I think he did enough to boost himself up in the draft a little. I don't think he did enough, you know, to get drafted in the 4th or 5th, but I think this is right around where I would expect him to go. Anyway, that's it with me. We don't really have no top end high talent in this year's draft, but middle of the first and back, it's very deep, all kinds of edge guys, and really the majority of them, I really don't have a problem with them, you know, converting into the 3-4. Even though I'm done with this video and I'm done making videos about them, I'll still be watching because they're very entertaining. Quiddy. Kwity Paye and Ojulari, they are both really good players. I don't know. I can't sit here and tell you what they're going to be in 2-3 years. They could be Lorenzo Carter. They could be top 10, 15 in the NFL. We don't know. You just got to put them in the right spots. They got to stay healthy, and we'll see. Giants are definitely going to take an edge rusher somewhere in the first of 4, the 5th round pick. So 1 to 4, just like wide receiver, I think they're going to take an edge guy as well. That's it for me. Thank you guys for all the support and watching my videos. I appreciate it. Stay safe, everybody. Like and subscribe. Bye.